Finally, I do not have to make a cramming video, making 2 AFL videos in the space of a few hours. I get the opportunity to analyze, watch the games, give my reactions, see what actually happens in these games, and give my results to these games, which is what this video is all going to be about. This is going to be an AFL Round 12 results video where we go through the predictions that I did in my previous video about the AFL, and let's see how many I got right. So without further ado, let's get into it. What's up everybody, it's the Aidan Sports Show. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be an AFL Round 12 results video where we go through all of the results that have happened in the Round 12 of the AFL and give my reactions to them, and also give a number to how many I guess right and wrong from my match predictions video, which I did earlier on in the week. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below, where is your team sitting on the ladder now? As the ladder seems to, there's a little bit of a gap every single round. A little bit more of gaps are happening. So it's either that your team is well and truly in the 8, or there's a potential chance that they might not make it. But wherever you are, let me know in the comments below, and I might even comment on how well I think your team has done. Let's see what happens. Let's see how well all of the teams that played in this week have done. And the first one, the most surprising one, the most unexpected result you could ever ask for: Sydney versus GWS. I had to pick GWS in this game. I had to, and Sydney won 66-25. Oh my god. Look, I didn't watch this game, so I thought it was a foregone conclusion. I really did. But when I saw this result, I was stunned and I was shook and I couldn't believe it. The first game of this round, and I end up taking a loss very, very early. What happened to GWS? That's what happened in this game. Is this just a rough night, or did Sydney just absolutely come in and dismantle them? I don't know what happened, man. Now, Sydney obviously have their own difficulties now. Apparently, one of their players had a breach in the COVID regulations, which sees him gone for the rest of the year. Look, I don't know, but Sydney definitely did one over here. I don't think they're going to care. Look, no one expected Sydney to make the 8, but they just beat a quality side. They beat a quality side comfortably. 10 goals 6 to 3 goals 7. They even had more opportunities at goal. It's not like GWS were unclinical. They clearly were 3 and 7, but they had more shots on goal. Sydney made me proud today. Look, I didn't predict them to win. I don't think they're a great team. I've said it every year. Every round, I don't think they're a great team. But they showed they could beat teams when they're up to it, man. Now, let's see if it's just an off night for GWS, or is there something that we could be talking about in the next week and the week after that. Next one, Geelong versus Port Adelaide. And we get back on winning ways. I predicted Geelong to win in a very risky choice, which took me a while to figure out. But I picked Geelong, and Geelong backed me up with a very, very outstanding victory, 91-31. Absolutely sensational. Look, Geelong were dangerous against St Kilda last week. They were absolutely dangerous. And I thought in my head, Port Adelaide are a team, yes, they're well and truly deserving to be first, but they're not better than some of the teams below them. That's the way that I felt going into this. Now, I thought they were better than Geelong. Don't get me wrong. I did think they were better than Geelong. But Geelong were just in such great form. They were in such great form, and they showed why. They're continuing their run of form. I'm so happy I don't have to verse Geelong again as a Melbourne fan. I'm so happy. I will take this victory, man, because I think this was one of the riskiest choices I made in this round, and it worked out for me, man. It worked out for me very, very well. Geelong was sensational. Port Adelaide were poor. Again, 2 teams that you expected would at least come close in their games ended up losing in the first 2 rounds. Now, next week for Port Adelaide, we need to see a bounce back. Otherwise, there is something to talk about or how poor they've been. Let's see where that goes, man. But fair play to Geelong. They did extremely well. The next game, North Melbourne versus Brisbane. Oh my. This one was a lot closer than I expected. It's a 1-point difference. I predicted Brisbane to win, so I'm going to take that victory. Yeah, my heart dropped when I saw that result. 53-52, Brisbane's favour. I'm going to take that. I predicted Brisbane to win. I guess the first thing I could talk about is the clinicalness from the Brisbane Lions. That's what made this game close. North Melbourne were extremely clinical in their shots on goal, and Brisbane were not. 7 goals to 11 behind. That's what made this game close at the end of the day. Brisbane could have well and truly ran away with it a little bit more, made it maybe a 20 to 30 point game if they were more clinical, but they weren't, and that's their own fault. But they're gonna take that win. They're gonna take that win and hope the next round they can play a little bit better. I think North Melbourne did well, and I think they should be proud of their performance despite the loss. Despite the loss, sometimes there's a victory in defeats. There are some victories in defeats, and the victory here for North Melbourne is they took it to arguably the best AFL competition side, maybe second or definitely in the top 4 at the moment, and they did well, and they nearly won. There is a victory in that, and I think North Melbourne should be very, very proud of the way they played. Next game. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Melbourne versus Collingwood. I predicted Melbourne to win. I backed my own team, and I'm very, very happy to say that Melbourne won this 100 to 44. Now, there are slight things to talk about when it comes to Collingwood. They have injuries in every single department, and I'm not going to deny that the injuries didn't play a factor, but you're telling me that you have a roster full of AFL pros. You had Lyndon Dunn in that team, you had experience, you had ability to hold a game, to keep a lead, and you did not perform. Collingwood cannot blame their entire performance on injuries today. They were poor everywhere. They were poor in the forward line, they were poor defensively. Sometimes it felt like they couldn't even get a kick away. And that is due to Melbourne. And Melbourne was superb. Yes, I understand. Melbourne have a much healthier team. Yes, we didn't have our best player, but we had a much healthier team compared to Collingwood, and that does make an impact. We should have won this game. I don't know why we weren't the favourites, but we should have won this game, and we did what we were supposed to do. Melbourne showed everybody that we could be a top 8 side. Look, whether we will be or not is a big question mark, but we have shown there are capabilities for Melbourne to go and take it. We've had injuries ourselves. I'm not going to say that we haven't, but that's the only reason I can see Collingwood complaining about this, because besides that, I don't think any Collingwood fan would come up to me and say that they deserve to win that game, because they didn't. They clearly didn't, and in my opinion, this was probably the breakout win for Melbourne, and we're going to see how well they do in their next rounds, which is going to be a bigger test for them. Next game. This one was close. Fremantle versus Carlton. There has been a lot of debate online about how this game should have went, the incorrect decisions being called. But in the end, on the last kick of the game, Carlton scored a fantastic goal, and it was a very tough angle. They scored a beautiful goal to seal their victory against Fremantle. Fremantle put up a hell of a fight. But you have people saying that Fremantle deserved to lose. In my opinion, look, Fremantle were up the whole game. So in my opinion, I don't think they deserve to lose the game. But you have to be realistic, man. Carlton are a better team than Fremantle. So the better team won here. That's just the way that things go. Look, it's not the easiest victory for Carlton, and it's definitely a tough swallow to swallow for Fremantle. But in the end, the better team did win, and there has to be an element of respect when it comes to the better team winning. There is. Better teams win no matter what the situation is. And Carlton did that. Clinicalness, Carlton had a lot more shots. But in the end, their clinicalness is relatively the same, to be honest. I mean, they had a lot more shots and a lot more behind. That's what made this game close, man. 5 goals each apiece, but the difference was the 10 points that Carlton scored compared to the 6. In the end, the points won the game, which is very, very surprising. Not many times you see that happen. Next game, the Western Bulldogs versus Adelaide. Look, enough about Adelaide, man. I don't want to talk about Adelaide. Western Bulldogs won this game comfortably, 111 to 54. I'm just going to move on. I don't think Adelaide are going to win the game this season. That's it. Western Bulldogs were dominant, but everyone expected them to be dominant. But they have a tough test against Melbourne next week as well. So that game is going to be really career defining for either team, whoever wins it, because that is probably the hardest challenge that both teams have yet to come. And we're going to see who's going to be the victors in that game. Next up, St Kilda versus Essendon. This game was fairly straightforward. I didn't have any tough decision picking St Kilda in this game, and they won. They deserved to win. I think they were up the whole game. At the end of the day, they deserve to win. They're the better team. Essendon, they're not that great. I think that's what we've come to see over the past month or so, they've lost a lot more than they've won. They're not a good side. They're just not. They did draw last week to a Gold Coast side that arguably have lost their ability to win games too. So we're going to have to see where things go for Essendon, but they don't look like a winning side these days. I think they're one of the least favourites out of all the teams that are fighting for the 8 to make it. So we're going to have to see where that goes, where that leads. Maybe they can pick things up over the course of time. In the end, we're going to have to wait and see. West Coast versus Hawthorn, straightforward one as well. I picked Hawthorn. I picked West Coast, and West Coast did win, 81-49. There's no way I would have picked Hawthorn. Again, if you guys want to see, if you guys don't even believe me, I did make a predictions video a few days back. So I do recommend you check that out before watching this one. But you're well and truly into this one, so it's not really going to matter. In the end, I have nothing to say about this. This was exactly the game I expected. I expected West Coast to dominate this game. I expect West Coast to be more clinical and have more shots. I expect a lot of things from West Coast that they did. Hawthorn, they didn't play terribly, but they were far and away the worst team in this game. It's as simple as that, man. Last but not least, Richmond versus the Gold Coast Suns. I picked Richmond to win, and Richmond won. I'm tired of not picking Richmond, man. They're a dangerous team, and they deserve respect. But realistically, I think everybody expected Richmond to win this game. I've made a lot of mistakes this video. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see where Richmond go. I think they're well and truly capable of winning the flag this year. They're a dangerous side when it comes to the end of the seasons. Gold Coast, on the other hand, they've done. I don't care what anybody says. If Gold Coast finish 3rd, 4th, last, wherever they do finish, they've had a tremendous season for the team that they have. They really have, man. They have had a tremendous season. I feel very proud of a team like Gold Coast that were expected to be bottom filter once again, 3rd last, 2nd last. Everyone expected Adelaide to finish last, but Gold Coast was definitely on that level with them. And they've shown that they're not. They've shown that they're a better side. They've shown that they're better quality. They show they have a brighter future. So I feel very, very proud of Gold Coast, despite their losing efforts of recent days. But that is my AFL results video. So I believe I only got one wrong in the very first game of Sydney and the GWS Giants. So I'm not sure of the math, but the total wins and losses I have for the entire season will appear now. And it's time to go to the winners and the losers of the round. I've given a lot of thought. I definitely know who my losers are, and it's going to be GWS. There's no question about it. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they have injuries. Look, I don't know much about their team in general, but they're a better side. They're a much better side, and they allow Sydney to absolutely run through them, decimate them. Sydney are not... They're not a good team, and yeah, somehow they still managed to win by more than 40 points. That's the question here. How did they let that happen? And for that reason, they are the losers of the rounds. The losers are going to be first. And the winners, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to pick my own team. Look, before I say that Melbourne are the winners of the round, there are a bunch of teams that need to get credit. Obviously, you have Geelong, Sydney, you have Western Bulldogs. But I am going to give it to Melbourne because the game was hyped up to be the game of the year. The game was hyped up to be winner will make the 8. The game was hyped up to be finals footy will be decided from this game. Even though none of those things are true, that's what this game was hyped up to be. They hyped this game up like unbelievably. And Melbourne took it and dominated. I'm giving Melbourne the winners of the week. I feel so proud that this is the first week I can say it. The first week I'm able to be proud of it. And I'm very happy. I'm excited to see where things go in the next round of the AFL. Now here is the ladder. The ladder is getting very, very close, and we're starting to see gaps between around the 10th and below, and also the top 4 and below. There are gaps starting to dwindle down and starting to cripple in, and we don't know where everyone's going to finish, but we're starting to see a clearer idea who's going to make the 8, who's going to drop out of the 8, who could potentially miss out in general, who can win the wooden spoon is definitely out of question. But also who could finish first, man. We don't know that yet. Anyway, that is going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. A little bit shorter. I tried to make things a little bit quicker for you guys. I don't want a 20-minute video. Have a wonderful, safe day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.